Hello everyone, this is Alex Ipatov and this is the video number 13 of the series on Rook Endgames. In this video I'm going to talk about the principle number 2 in Rook Endgames, the principle about the king's activity. Let's take a look at the position on the screen. We see that white is a pawn up and white threatens to win even more pawns. So at the moment white threatens to take on g7. And if black plays king f6, then white can maybe play rook a6, attacking the c6 pawn, or maybe rook c7, attacking the c6 pawn. In the game, black played g5, rook h7, rook a2 took place, so now white won the pawn and black won the pawn, but still white is the pawn up. White played rook h6 check, and critical moment. What should black do? Should the black king go back to d7, or to sacrifice one pawn or 2 pawns and go to e5? So if black plays king d7, then white most likely would play rook f6, attacking the f5 pawn. Black's position is completely lost because all the pawns are being eliminated. Rook c5, rook e3, rook takes g5, and if rook c3, then simply c5, and the pawn is protected by the rook. That's why in the game black played king e5, sacrificing the remaining 2 pawns for the king's activity. So now black threatens to come with the king to f3, threatening some mate on a1. White does not have anything better than taking on c6, king e4, rook c5. We see that white is whole 3 pawns up in this position, but it's not enough because of black's king centralization and activity. Although white is the material up, our king is too weak, is too passive. So black exploits this fact and creates mating or perpetual threats by playing f4 first. Another important move. Black cannot play king f3 right away because of rook takes f5 check, and the king is driven away from a file. Likewise, black cannot take on a3 because of the same reason. Rook takes f5, and the black king does not have f3 squared at his disposal because of the rook on f5. That's why black plays f4, preparing an umbrella against checks along the file. So why umbrella? Because if e takes f4, then king f3, and there is no check from f5 because of pawn f4. So this pawn is like an umbrella. So after king f3, black threatens to play rook a1 mate. So white needs to move the h pawn in order to have the h2 square available. So h3, rook a1 check, and the draw was agreed in this position because the white king cannot escape from the perpetual. So what have we learned in this game? We learned from this game that the king's activity is very important in Rook endgames, and sometimes it's more valuable than 4 pawns, like in this position. We see that white is 4 pawns up, but the king is passive. Meanwhile, black is 4 pawns down, but his king is active, and this is enough to make a draw. So that was the video on the second principle in Rook endgames, the king's activity. That was Alex Ipatov, and thank you for watching.